welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you my everyday makeup drawer for September. So in these videos I go through my makeup collection, pick out some products I haven't used in a while or some new products that I want to test out for the month. I haven't filmed one of these in the last 2 months because I was trying to use up certain products. So I'll show you guys what products I've used up or how far I am in like panning certain products and what I was using throughout the summer, and we'll pick out some products for fall. So if you guys want to see what I'm going to be using for the month of September, then just keep on watching. Alright, so here is everything that was in my everyday makeup drawer for summer. I have some things that I'm still trying to use up, some things that are basically empties already. One thing I'm going to go ahead and toss is the Smashbox Primerizer Primer. You can see it's basically empty. I really just have like barely any use left in here, so I'm kind of like over it just because I've been trying to use it up and I have no patience anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this one. It's basically all done, and I actually really love that primer. I just kind of like wore it way too much just trying to declutter it. Another thing, oh, I'm excited about this one. So this is an empty as well. Finally, after all of these years, my Too Faced Sweet Tea bronzer is all used up. I'm actually like, I feel very satisfied that I used this whole thing up. I bought this for my wedding, which was June 2016, so it took me 3 years and 3 months to use it up. Of course I took some breaks. Obviously didn't use it every day, but still I've had it in my collection for a really long time. Meant a lot to me. Actually really love this bronzer. I would probably repurchase it like maybe at the end of this year, honestly, because obviously I loved it so much. But I'm just happy I used up a whole freaking bronzer. I do think this packaging's so annoying, like it's so big, but the bronzer is actually gorgeous. Another thing I'm probably gonna end up decluttering, my Kevyn Aucoin Nasty contour book. Nasty because it's covered in lash glue and makeup, but this is awesome. I'm obsessed with the contour powder. I can still kind of use it. Well, obviously I can still use this until it's all used up for a few more weeks. So I might just do that and declutter it later this month because I really only use this and I was just trying to use the whole thing up. So I might give it a few more weeks, but this is basically on its last leg as well. I don't even worry about keeping the other products in there clean because I really just use that one powder. Those are basically the empties. I'm almost done with my NARS foundation. Like I am really using this thing up. So this is another thing that I'm just gonna keep in here, mix in with some other foundations, and just use up within the month, hopefully. I love using up foundations. I always pair it with my Lancome foundation. I mix these together because the shades, this one is way too dark, this one's way too light, so I just mix those. Really those are the only things I think that I was like really trying to use up. Some other things in here I didn't use as often as I'd like the Lancome Absolute Powder. I only used a few times. I'd use the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm palette here and there, but I wasn't using it every day. The Zoeva palette was not something I was super excited about. This is the Caramel palette from Zoeva. Yeah, I obviously didn't use this like too often. I just used a couple transition shades here and there, but didn't excite me too much, so I didn't feel like using it, honestly. I have like some other ColourPop palettes and the Jackie Aina palette that I've been wearing nonstop. This blush palette from Wet n Wild, this was in my most recent favorites. I have been using this a ton. Highly recommend it. You can get it on the Wet n Wild website. It's probably at a lot of drugstores as well. Love this palette so much. I use this e.l.f. highlighter a bit. This is the e.l.f. and That's Heart highlighter. Obviously I didn't use it enough to really like make a dent in it or make a huge difference in it, but still liking that one. Those are kind of like the main things. Honestly, like half of these lip products, I really just need to go ahead and declutter separately. I just keep them there because I have nowhere else to put them, so just kind of like disregard that basket in general. Up here, ooh, I still really like the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Blush. I didn't really get to use the Physicians Formula blush too much. This one is very, very light on my complexion, so I just didn't wear it very often because I would have to wear it and then use something else on top or apply a lot of it. So I didn't wear that one too much, but I would either go with the Wet n Wild blush palette or the Bare Minerals blush, and I think I'll still keep wearing this a lot in the fall. This one is in the shade Call My Blush. It's like a really pretty mauve tone. Really like these blushes, are really pigmented, and they look like very natural on your skin. They don't look powdery. So this is actually a really gorgeous shade for fall if you're looking for a new blush. If you're wondering why I have two of the same powders in here, these are from Benefit. This is called the Hello Happy Face Powder. I had originally tried the powder in the shade 5, and it's actually pretty dark, and the shade 3 works a lot better for me. I've used it here and there a little bit. When it comes to like finishing powders, I don't wear them every day, so it would take me like a while to really decide what my favorite is. But really what I've been using it is to set my eyeshadow primer mostly, and then touch up if I really need to. But yeah, I usually just use it very lightly to set my eyes. But liking it. I see myself like continuing to just keep trying it out and stuff, but like I said, it's not like a day-to-day thing. I didn't even touch this e.l.f. blush, honestly, just because it's so pigmented, and I was mostly using those other two blushes I mentioned. And then here, this is the shade Luster from Makeup Geek. I see myself decluttering this highlighter. Honestly, I've had it for a few years, and I think like I'm just not into this tone anymore, and I used to be, but now I'm not into like that icy highlighter shade anymore. So it's hard for me to like gravitate and pull this one out of my collection and want to wear it, because I really prefer something like bronzy or gold or champagne compared to like a cool tone pink highlighter. But that's kind of the highlights of everything that was in my drawer this summer. Here are just like some of the things that I used up that I mentioned in the beginning, so you guys can see those. Really, I was just very proud that I finished this up and basically finished up the Smashbox Primerizer. Basically finishing up this NARS foundation. I still have a few more weeks with this, but I'm getting super close to that one. A couple other things in here. I'm still trying to use up my NARS concealer. So whatever I'm trying to use up and like hit pan on, I just try to keep in here just to make it like a really casual project pan in my everyday makeup drawer. And I was actually using the Anastasia Stick Foundation in Fawn. This is what I use to contour. I actually used it quite a bit over the summer as well, so still really like this product. I've had it for a really long time. I never see myself being someone who cream contours every day, but when I do, I'll do it like once or twice a week, and I really, really enjoy this product. I didn't really use the Benefit Hoola one because I just prefer, like if I'm only gonna contour once or twice a week, I'm just gonna use the thing that I like. So this is the one I like more from Anastasia. The shade is just more cool tone. And that's kind of basically it. I was using the Laura Mercier concealer as well, still like this, the Flawless Fusion Concealer. I really like this for more like lightweight makeup days because it's a little less coverage, but it gives you a really nice glowy look under your eyes. All right, so yes, finally, that is everything that was in here for this summer. I'm gonna go ahead and empty everything out. I'm just gonna keep some of the products, like some of the foundations that I'm trying to use up in here, and empty everything else out and pick out some products for September. All right, so getting started with blushes, bronzers, highlighters. There's a couple that I've just been using like on repeat because of what I got at the Sephora sale. So I want to try to switch things up a little bit. I want to play with this duo from Pacifica that I got in Ipsy over the summer. This is a blush and bronzer duo. It looks really, really pretty. I honestly think I've only used this like once or twice. But these are shades that I would totally wear. So I just need to start using this more, obviously, because I've just been focusing on other new makeup. So I'm going to pull that one aside. And then for blush, I also want to use one of these Cover FX blushes. Let's do, I always wear Soft Peach. So Warm Honey is one that is going to be more mauve for the fall time. So definitely want to start wearing this more now that we're in September. It's still 90 degrees outside, but at least I could pretend it's fall when I do my makeup for Instagram and stuff. So really like these shades a lot. So gonna use those. All right, so I just pulled this bronzer off of my vanity, and this is gonna be my next project pan for bronzer since we're already a little bit there. Maybe I can use this up by, well, maybe not use it up by the end of the year, but maybe I can get like a serious dent in it by the end of the year, since I used my other Too Faced Sweet Tea bronzer, or my other Too Faced bronzer. This one is Chocolate Gold from Too Faced, and I love this one as well. I basically had to stop myself from using this one as often as I wanted to for the past couple months because I was trying to declutter sweet tea. So I obviously already know that I love this bronzer, but I'm basically rewarding myself for using up Too Faced Sweet Tea by letting myself use up another favorite of mine. These highlighter drops, I think I've only used one so far. I got in a BoxyCharm. I think BoxyCharm, or was it? No, I think I got it in Ipsy Glam Bag Plus just in the past couple weeks. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my drawer, maybe mix it into some foundation or mix it into primer, play around with it, see if I like to wear it on its own, and see how I like to use it. All right, so there are two highlighters that I have that can be highlighters that I can work towards finishing up and using the whole thing. So I have Jouer Topaz, which I obviously have a lot used up in here, and I love this highlighter so much. And then the other one that I've taken a break from is Persona highlighter in Zuma. I love this so much, and I was getting close to using this up. I think I should use this one up. I was getting close to using it up, and I got scared that I was gonna finish it. But now I'm totally in a mood to actually use things up in my collection and not have them like halfway used up and forget about them. So this is probably honestly my favorite highlighter in my collection, and I haven't used it I think in a few months, but I can totally use this for like the next 2 months and not get bored of it and use the whole thing up, and I'll be so happy to have used another product. So let's go ahead and actually let me do both. Let me do the Persona Zuma highlighter and also Jouer Topaz. I'll have them both in my drawer for the month and rotate between both, and let's see what they look like in 30 days or so. See if I use them up a bit more. I feel like highlighters are a little easier to use up since they're so like powdery, and I do apply quite a bit. So we'll see how it goes, see which one I end up using a little bit more. Yeah, I think that was everything in this drawer. And then there's some products you guys can see I just like strategically placed right in the front of my drawer because they weren't standing up here, and I just had them on my vanity for my foundations and primers. So these are the two foundations that I want to start wearing more because they're both a lot newer in my collection. Both I got recently in like the past month. The Fenty one's very, very new. I've only gotten this like maybe 3 weeks ago. But ever since I got the Anastasia foundation, I have not put it down. I have worn it every single day since I purchased it at the Sephora VIB sale. So I haven't been able to give these like enough love in the past month, so I want to make sure I use both of these more and see how I feel about them compared to each other and how I feel about them compared to the Anastasia foundation, and then I can give you guys an update at the end of the month. I also want to start using the Wander Beauty Glow Ahead Illuminating Face Oil. This is basically like a facial serum. It's a little thicker. It basically reminds me of the consistency of a Farsali face oil. That's basically to me like a primer. So I need to start using this. I just got this recently, I think in BoxyCharm in the past month. So I'm gonna add this to my drawer and see if I like to use it as a primer. And then another primer that I am gonna start using, let me go back to this from Touch in Sol, the No Problem Primer. Love this stuff so much. I've used up like little mini bottles of this in the past, and I haven't been wearing this one very often since I've been using up some other things in my collection. And I also am super obsessed with the Kylie Skin Moisturizer as a primer, so I want to go back and use like my other face primers. So this is one that I know I can get myself to use very easily because I know I love this product. And then actually I think I'm gonna use another primer, and that's gonna be the one from Origins. This is the Pore Perfecting Cooling Primer. So this is another product where I use up 75% of the product, and then I get scared that I'm gonna run out, so I stop using it so I can like preserve it in my collection. Worst case scenario, I could just obviously go back and buy it. It's like $30. It lasts me like a year, so it's not a big deal. I don't know why I act like it's a big deal in my head. So this is one of my favorites, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to use this up this month. That will be my priority, to try to use this up and see if I can, because this is awesome and I want to make sure that I still love this product. I'm pretty sure I do. I haven't touched it in months, but I forgot that I used to be so obsessed with it, and now I'm like excited to actually start wearing it again. I don't think I'm gonna pick out any of the concealers back there because I have already in my drawer the NARS concealer that I'm trying to declutter. So realistically, I'm gonna try to focus on that one. And then lastly, we have eyeshadow palettes, and I have a couple of different palettes that I'm thinking about adding to my drawer for the month. Definitely I want to work with the Persona Cosmetics Identity 2 palette. I've worn this a few times already, but honestly, my Jackie Aina palette, the Anastasia Jackie Aina, this one over here, love that so much that it's hard for me to use anything else. So I want to give this palette more love because it is a new release as well. I've actually been wearing this shade quite a bit, like almost every day honestly, in my lower lash line, or wearing like some of the transition shades in combination with the Jackie Aina palette. But I want to film some tutorials with this look because I really love the formula of Persona Cosmetics. And then let's see what else. We have a few options. One thing I can use as well is from Butter London. This is a palette I got in BoxyCharm over the summer. Lots of great like lid colors in here. So I can use that in combination with a Persona palette or any other palette. I haven't been reaching for this palette because I do need to wear it in combination with another palette for some more matte shades. But I can definitely reach for this and use one of the shimmers for a lid color, and then use some of the shades from like the Persona palette or just any other palette that I have. We want to get in the fall spirit. This is the standard go-to fall palette for me, Tarte Toasted. This was well loved for a while. I really did love this palette when it first released. I was wearing it non-stop every day. The shimmers aren't as great as like Anastasia or some other palettes that are super pigmented and super buttery, so that's why I don't reach for this palette anymore, but they still show up very satin on the eyes, and the transition shades are great. So I think I can definitely use this with like some other palettes in combination for some of those matte transition shades. Really nothing wrong with the shimmers. Like, I've just gotten so spoiled with the formula of Anastasia that I love like a super intense metallic shadow, but that's really not my everyday vibe. And this is like a really great everyday palette where I only have a couple minutes to do my makeup and I don't really want to think about it too much. This is that palette, so I'm gonna use that. Maybe I can hit pan on a couple shades in there as well, and I think those three palettes are good for eyeshadow for the month. All right, so as far as face palettes go, I'm not sure if I want to pull anything out. I have these palettes from Kevyn Aucoin that I'm gonna start using probably next month to replace the one that I showed you guys that I am hitting pan on. Let's see. I use the Anastasia one sometimes, but I just want to finish up that Kevyn Aucoin palette that I showed you guys earlier. My Tarte palette, I honestly can go ahead and declutter because I'm so over this palette. It's a bit older. Yeah, I'm really thinking I'm not gonna pick any face palettes for this month just because I have enough in my collection that I want to actually use up and declutter and not just give myself like 20 options of products. I actually just want to use like the same one up. So we'll save the face palettes for next month. I'm just like looking in my drawer and just kind of remembering what I have that I haven't used in a really long time. I kind of have forgotten about both of these. Love these so much because I've been trying to use up my Kevyn Aucoin palette. But the Cover FX, this is the Perfector face palette and the Smashbox palette. Those are so good, and one of these, probably the Smashbox one, I can start using again next month, and that could be like my next Project Pan goal. I mean, this one is still very, well, I do have like a significant debt in here, but I'm actually going to be going to Europe for like a week and a half next month. So this would be like great for that because this is like my favorite face palette to travel with. So just a little mental note there, sneak peek for next month. But for this month, we'll skip out on the face palettes and just use what I have from Kevyn Aucoin. All right, guys, so here is a look at everything in my drawer for September. Like I said earlier, my goal is to finish this up, the Kevyn Aucoin contour powder. I knew I said I was going to just use it up for the month and then end up decluttering it, but I want to use up the whole thing, and I think I can do that in the next couple weeks. And then we'll be all set with that one, and then we can start working on another contour book to use up and declutter. And then we have some new eyeshadow palettes. Well, really, these are newer. Tarte is an old favorite. Some newer highlighters, blushes, bronzers, some new foundations, and some old favorite primers as well. But that's gonna be everything for my drawer for the month. Let me know what products you guys are using for September in the comments below. And that is everything for today's video. If you guys liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you guys soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.